Good evening, friends and family. I'm here with one of my lovely agents, that very good friend, extremely gorgeous. So here's Janyth Bolden, and I want her to tell you her story. What we do here is we teach families the rules of money, kind of to help them prepare for the unexpected and the future. And one of the things that we always hear is we work 40 years of our life and
40 hours a week.
40 hours a week, and then when we
42
retire,
You get
we
42.
only get 40% of our income.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
need 100% of our income, so it just doesn't make sense. And here's a poster child for that, ready to explain it to you. Here we go, Janyth.
Mary,
Go ahead, Janyth. Tell me your story.
my story might be just like about a lot of people. You know, when I was coming up, my parents told me to go to school, get a good job. And when I got ready to retire, you know, my income, my job was going to take care of all my income, and I wouldn't have to worry about struggling or anything else like that. So I did. I worked 47 years. I didn't just do the 40. And I became really good at my profession. I was the department director for 2 different hospitals, 40 employees, 50 employees each. And when it was about the time for me to retire, I got a phone call, and it was the people who were taking care of my 401k, and they said, Ms. Bolden, we've been trying to get in touch with you. And I said, okay, for what? Well, you know, it's about time for you to take your money out. I'm like, my money out? Yes, you know that after a while you can only keep it in your 401k for a certain period of time, and then you have to take it out. Well, what if I don't want to? Well, if you don't want to, they're going to really tax you about it. That makes no sense. I'm still working. Why do I have to take it out? Anyway, after much haggling back and forth, it was like, fine, I'll do that. I'll take it out. So I asked the people who had been taking care of my money for all this time and putting it in these investments, what would be the best for me, you know, to do. She says, well, you know, you've been working all this time, so why don't you just take it all, and then you can spend it. I said, really? That's all it takes? She said, yeah, you just have to sign these papers. I send them to you electronically and tell me what bank you want the money to go into, and it can be there. I got the information. I signed on the dotted line. I sent it back to them. What they sent me was maybe 60% of what was in my account.
What happened to the other 40?
Well, you see, there's these taxes, and there's these fees. And when you sign up for your 401ks or your 403bs or whatever it is, they don't tell you about the taxes and the fees and all the other things. And I didn't realize until actually I started doing this that the person I was talking to knew absolutely nothing about money. They were probably they just answered the telephone.
Just helping you with the paperwork to liquidate your account?
With the paperwork to liquidate my account.
They were kind of like your financial planner?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because they held your 401k for many years?
These are the people who answered the telephone call when I called and asked them about something. They got on the phone. They never said, ever said, oh, we don't handle that. This is like the call center. They discussed it as if they were the expert and professional on what I should do. That was it. I ended up with enough money to last me probably about a year.
Wow. You worked 40 years. 40 hours a week for 40 years.
At least 40.
And when you retired, you only had enough to retire
about a year.
For a year.
Interesting about the other part of that is, you know, remember in the 2008 when they had the crash and everything else,
Mortgage meltdown,
and they've had quite a few other little things.
Yes.
But I remember I said, oh my God, that's so terrible. These people losing all of their money that's in the stock market. Oh my God, I'm so glad my money's in a 401k and I don't have it in the stock market. I didn't really know until I was ready to liquidate my account that my money was actually in the stock market, being in a 401k. Because when you go to personnel and you go to human resources, those are the things that they don't tell you. They
Wow.
had us in a large room, they had people sitting all around, and then you sit up and they told you about that you should put your money in this account because you didn't have to pay taxes on it. There was absolutely no one in this room that said, this is how it works.
Wow.
Nobody.
Wow. So what would your recommendation be after learning what you've learned? You being the poster child for the working 40 years, 40 hours, and living off of 40% of your original income. What advice do you have for our viewers? For young people, for middle age, and even people that are getting ready to retire?
My first thing would be is get a second opinion. 2 places that I would not suggest that you go is do not go to the bank. You need to find someone who can provide you with different information.
Okay.
Do not go to your CPA because they take care of your taxes only. You need to find someone who actually does, or who does all of these things together. Because if you don't, you're going to be in the same position that I'm in. Ask questions. Believe me, I wish I had known to ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask about the money that is yours.
Anybody
The
okay?
401k, the 403b, the one that says that it's going to be your retirement account,
Okay.
whatever it is.
What questions should they ask? What are like the 3 main questions that people should ask so they could be well aware of what's going on with their money?
How does my money grow? The same thing that we teach. How does our money grow? How does my money get taxed? And what assurances do I have that what I put in, I'm going to get out of?
Okay, so is your money protected?
Is it protected?
And is it going to be taxed?
And yes,
Or how is it being taxed?
how is it being taxed?
And how is it growing?
And how is it growing? And how is it
Fantastic.
being protected?
And so for any young person that wants to open an account, those would probably be great questions, is how is my money gonna grow? Is it protected? And how is it being taxed?
And how is it being taxed? We just would get over ourselves and stop being hard and just ask the questions. They're not dumb. Believe me, they're not dumb. And don't be ashamed that you don't know.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Janyth, for sharing your wisdom. A lot of people will actually take this information and put it to good use, because definitely it will save them a lot of heartache, and it will help them prepare themselves for the future, because with the blink of an eye, we're at retirement age. If we're not prepared, then we struggle. And one of the things that we want to make sure people do not do is just that struggle.
That's true.
Thank you for your story. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being awesome and helping us spread the message.
Thank you.